Roleplay by Kits. Applejack wouldn't meet her eyes. The other pony just kept looking around the barn, like this was her first time clicking a mare's party button.
It's okay, Wacky Jackie. It's perfectly fine. In fact, it may even be super fun.
You don't have to lie to me, Pinky. It's weird. Applejack half-heartedly kicked a small pile of hay. I mean, I love you, but... Pinky silenced her with a kiss.
Don't be silly, Applejack. I know you do.
Beaming into AJ's downcast expression, she'd need to get used to calling her AJ for this. Pinky affected a raspier and somewhat lower voice.
Almost as much as you like apples.
She missed the voice crack, but Applejack, AJ's, head shot up all the same. Pinky, you don't...
Oh, hush you.
Pinky pulled a multicolored wig and fake set of blue wings out from behind a hiding spot behind a pile of hay and popped it on over her own mane. The colors were spot on, even if the wig did lay a little crooked, and the wings strapped right onto her flanks. As she wiggled, they even opened and closed a little.
Where did you get...
Applejack began, but stopped when Pinky gave her a near-perfect copy of Rainbowdash's signature smirk. "Dress-up emergencies?" she asked.
Okay then, Pinky chirped in her own voice. If I'm Rainbowdash, then you should be...
Pinky rubbed her chin with a hoof in thought. Suddenly her face lit up, and she reached into a bale in front of her and yanked out a long purple wig and white horn on a headband.
You should be Rarity,
she cried as she popped them onto her head. That would mean she didn't have to call her AJ. Success. Applejack's eyes rolled up to see the fake horn jutting from her forehead, perfectly framed by her Stetson. "How in the hay did you do that?" she asked, despite knowing the answer wouldn't make any kind of real sense. Pinky just cackled, not her normal laugh, which was more of a giggle, but a full-bodied ruckus laugh that belonged only to Rainbowdash.
Geez, Rarity, nice headgear. I guess Farmer is in this season.
AJ's eyes narrowed at the slight directed at her headgear. Tipping the hat off carefully, she placed it on a bale out of the way.
Rainbow darling.
At a questioning glance at Pinky, she cleared her throat. Summoning the memories of the training she had received in Manhattan back to her mind, she affected a city pony's accent. Her chin rose several degrees, and she poured a feigned sense of boredom into her voice.
Rainbow darling, I'm simply experimenting with new fashion choices. One never quite knows where inspiration shall strike.
Pinky stifled a very Pinkie Pie giggle with a hoof as she trotted up to Applejack.
See, I told you it could be fun,
she whispered. She was right. It kinda was. The thrill of doing something she had wanted to for so long, combined with the sheer naughtiness of doing it while playing at being Rarity, sent tingles down her spine. In a louder and bolder voice, Rainbow said, "Experimenting? I've got awesome experiments we could try." She wiggled her eyebrows as she turned away. "It'll be awesome." Applejack's eyes nearly popped out of her head as she saw the rest of Pinky's costume. The Cutie Marks stickers were a nice touch, even if pink clashed a bit with the red, but the multicolored, full-bodied rainbow tail anchored to a butt plug Pinky had somehow inserted without her noticing drew her full attention. The tail whapped over and covered Pinky's real one. As she slowly walked deeper into the barn, she swayed, sending the rainbow tresses dancing. Applejack's mouth fell open. A wetness began to leak from between her rear legs as she realized that Pinky wasn't joking. This was real. She was about to have sex with Rainbowdash.
Hey, Rarity, what's the hold-up?
Pinky snickered.
You need to ask Twilight about a new dress pattern? Or is this...
She gave a shake of her rump.
Too much awesome for you to handle.
Sniffing, Applejack strode after her.
A lady's never in a hurry, Rainbowdash. She always arrives just late enough to be fashionable."
She had lost sight of Pinky in the dark.
"But, Rainbow dear, where have you gotten off to? This experiment you mentioned, does it have to involve icky darkness?"
Chills were raised along her spine as she felt honest to Celestia feathers tracing up her neck and ear.
"No," whispered Rainbowdash, "but it sure makes it more fun."
Hot wetness leaked down her leg as Pinky blew into her ear.
"How about the two of us get a little dirty?"
The question was accompanied by Pinky slowly but firmly brushing her tail aside and sliding a hoof down over the source of her heat. Gulping, Applejack tried to stay in character while at the same time moving things along. She had no idea Pinky was this good at Rainbowdash impressions.
Of course, Sugar Pink Rainbow, my dear,"
she stammered. With Pinky out of sight and her voice pitched to match RD's, it was very easy for Applejack to pretend that it really was the Pegasus, slowly massaging her slit. She began panting slightly, her mind scrambling for a response. She should ask what this had to do with fashion. Now if only she could find enough words to do it. Rarity never used 5 when 10 would do.
Rainbow darling, this is quite nice, but what does this have to do with, fashion?"
She shrieked the last word as Dash's Pinky's hoof ran over her clit, sending waves of pleasure coursing through her and buckling her knees.
"Huh, who said anything about fashion?"
A pungent smell filled her nose as a pink hoof was placed under it.
"This is much more awesome than dresses and hats."
Feathers ran up and down her flank as Applejack's tongue daintily lapped at the hoof, tasting her own excitement. The brash voice whispering in her ear, the feel of feathers, the aura of confidence all screamed Rainbowdash. It was everything she had wanted and more. Applejack let loose a low moan as Rainbowdash kissed her inner thigh.
"That's not really that ladylike, Rarity,"
she said. AJ tried to keep from such vulgar displays of arousal, but Dash's tongue began to trace around her swollen marehood, and she couldn't keep them down.
Rainbow,"
she whinnied as that same tongue made contact with her need.
"I don't think I can keep this up,"
she cried.
"That's fine, AJ. Just another thing I'm better at."
Applejack's eyes shot open. Surely it was Pinky. She could see the prank-loving mare pulling something like a switch. As Pinky's, or Rainbow's, whoever's tongue flicked over her clit, she melted. Lips wrapped around her nub and sucked.
"Oh, Rainbow,"
Applejack yelled as she came, washing some pony's chin in a wave of fluids. Rainbow's laugh sounded again.
"Then again, maybe you are the fastest in Equestria."
With a titanic surge of effort, Applejack lashed out with her tail, swiping some pony's hooves out from under her. A muffled squeak as the pony hit the floor confirmed that Pinky hadn't pranked her in this. She scrambled to her hooves and pinned the other mare on her back by her wings. It was dark, but AJ imagined that she could see blue eyes underneath the multi-hued mane.
"Hey, what's the big deal, AJ? Too much cool for you to handle?"
"Pinky," she whispered, "thanks, but you can drop the act."
"Nuh-uh, not until you make me," she whispered back.
Applejack smiled. "Then you're going to get exactly what you all deserve, RD." Applejack pressed her hips to Pinky's and shared a kiss. She broke the kiss just as Pinky was beginning to respond. "I'm going to show you what fast is all about." Applejack began nipping down Pinky's neck and chest. She took a moment to nip at Pinky's flanks, right where the wings connected, and she was surprised when Pinky let out a very un-rainbow moan.
Y'all like that? She asked. Duh, Applejack. All Pegasi do.
Applejack looked down between pink legs and saw that she wasn't kidding. The pooling fluid showed that even fake Pegasi liked being nibbled there. A few more quick nips and she was forced to reverse direction, pinning the faux Pegasus with her back legs on wings. Rather than playing with Pinky, she dove straight into her sopping sex, tongue delving between swollen lips. Pinky gasped and moaned. It was a very Rainbowdash moan. Applejack redoubled her efforts to draw out the Pinkie Pie squeaks she so desperately wanted to hear. She licked and massaged, feeling every inch of Pinky she could reach, even driving her muzzle right up against the mare, but still Pinky kept enough control that most of the grunts and moans sounded like their rainbow-maned friend. Applejack drove her mouth right up against Pinky's swollen sex, covering her as much as possible with her lips. As her nose bumped into Pinky's second tail, the other mare let out a quivering moan that was far too high-pitched to ever come from Dash's throat. Her teeth clamped around the base of the plug, and she unceremoniously yanked it out.
I guess you're going to be calling yourself Pinky a mite sooner than you thought, she quipped.
Pinky moaned her agreement in something halfway between her own squeaks and her impersonation of Dash as Applejack began to massage her ass with her tongue. She didn't have to wait long. No sooner had she pressed the tip in than she heard Pinky begin to squeak rapidly, each intake of breath from the pony sounding higher and higher. A veritable tide of sweet-smelling fluid washed over her chin and soaked into Pinky's tail.
"Cool enough for y'all, Rainbow Pie?"
she asked. As Pinky panted on the floor, twitching as aftershocks ran through her, she slowly raised her head.
"Next time, you're Rainbowdash,"
she said, before collapsing in a pool of her own fluids.